what we understand historically and today was not created by African people. It was not created by African people. Christianity is a syncretic religion, meaning that it is, as it moved through the world, it picked up those aspects of the cultures around it and dominated them in an effort to convert them. And so our people hid our culture inside of it so that we could continue worshiping our deities. And over time, when the elders passed, that which was behind Christianity faded away, and that which was in front of it, Mary eating an apple, a snake in the tree, and so on and so on, all of those things stayed prominent in our belief system. And that's why I want to pause in this frame by saying that you will know if you are worshiping or deifying Greek European culture if you have no knowledge of any African cultural reference of their relationship to the creator.
So I want to interject.
And that question is still on the table to name a day of the week outside of your Christian.
Go ahead, Damon.
Yeah, so I want to interject because you made an argument about mythology and every culture being entitled to their own mythology as long as it doesn't dominate another people group.
No, I said as long as it does not become the history.
As long as it doesn't.
Mythology of the Bible has become history for everyone who's submitted.
Got you. And I stand corrected. That's exactly what you said. So I wanna build from there because the premise of that argument is still flawed because it's built on the premise that Christianity is mythology, which is what Jared was arguing. And the reality is that all of these kinds of claims that you guys are making is what you would call historical revisionism. For instance, this idea that Jesus was created at the Council of Nicaea. We literally have 300 years of surviving documentation by early Christian communities talking about their beliefs in Jesus, which correspond and align to exactly what is taught in the New Testament. And so we don't have a mythology there. We do have a belief system, and that belief system is predicated on the actual historical evidence for Jesus's life. Now,
if you recall, Thursday is still Thursday.
Hang on. Okay. I think that's irrelevant to
the mythology is still present today. Just saying that.
All right, yeah, but I think that's irrelevant to this part of the conversation. What we want to correct is this idea that Christianity is mythology.
To all my soldiers, we are knee deep in spiritual warfare, and Hardly Initiated has created some additional armor for the fight. The Fight the Flesh bracelet is a stylish reminder to stay disciplined in the face of battle and temptation. So click the link in the description and get yours today. And don't forget, use code CLIPS for 10% off. Let's fight.
And what's further interesting is what Jared is arguing, and even what you're arguing. This idea of mythology. All of those things were put forth by white pseudo-intellectuals. Those ideas are not African. So, for instance, Jared was talking about this, and you were talking about this notion of Christianity essentially borrowing or stealing African ideas. That idea was first put forth by Gerald Massey, who had no degrees in Egyptology at all. And in his books, The Beginning and Ancient Egypt, Light of the World, he put forth these ideas that essentially Christianity borrowed its idea of Jesus from Egypt and even started creating these false parallels between Jesus and Horus. The same ideas that
Damon, can I ask you a question?
Guys, hang on.
Wait, Malik, hold on 1 second. Let him finish his thought.
Okay.
The same ideas that all of your modern zeitgeist, all of your Jesus mythicism that's put forth by white scholars are built on. And so the fact of the matter is that these ideas that so-called the conscious community and Pan-Africanist thinkers put forth were all borrowed by essentially theosophist, esoteric, white Europeans from the late 19th century that created the idea that eventually evolved into Africanist studies. And none of these ideas are actually rooted in factual history. None of these ideas are actually rooted in documented evidence in the literature. They are theories and hypotheses that are largely based on things such as this idea of the Black Athena. And that is the idea that that Greece essentially stole from Africa its ideas about religion, spirituality, and even from Egyptian libraries. All of those ideas are false. And these are the same, this is the same seedbed and foundation for which these ideas about Christianity being the white man's religion are all built on. I would challenge every last one of you to actually substantiate the claims that you are making based on actual history, not just historical claims. And when you start looking at, for instance, the Council of Nicaea and early Christian communities, the evidence is there that Christians worshiped Christ according to scripture and not according to borrowed tradition. So show me the borrowed tradition. Where did they get it from? Because I can show you that those ideas about, for instance, Jesus being a copy of Horus or Jesus being a copy of some other deity is actually Kessler's idea from the world's 13 crucified saviors, where he essentially created, sensationalized these comparisons and similarities that are not actually rooted in Egyptian mythology. And so the task today is that if Christianity is in fact a white man's religion, let me ask this question. What is it that Black people believe as it relates to Christianity that is borrowed from white Europeans, right? What I'd like for you to do is distinguish and separate, as my brother Jerome did, whitewashing effects in culture from the actual orthodox beliefs that we hold. So what I want to hear is, what is it that we believe that was constructed and essentially given to us by whites that you would call Christianity?
I think that's a good question. But I'd like to go back to a few things that you said. First off, that I want you just to imagine in the course of what you explained. I think that's a great question. But I want you to consider what did African people know, being the first people on the planet? Can we all agree that African people were the first people on the planet? Can we agree on that? Are we agreed? Damon, Jerome?
I don't know that to be true. It is largely believed that
you were citing all kind of historical and scientific places.
It is largely that civilization began in Africa.
That is largely accepted in all scholastic circles. Okay, so Jerome, are you there too? I just want to.
That is widely accepted. That is widely accepted. We can agree there.
Oh, wow.
So you don't agree with that? But then I think therein lies the problem. That's what I'm calling the cult of Black inferiority. But I'll continue. So what I'm saying,
but you're assuming like we're saying that they're white or that it's Europe. I'm just saying like
I didn't say anything about white. I just said Black.
No, I'm saying that the reason I'm saying I agree that it's widely accepted, but like as we're talking dates and stuff, and none of you have given sources.
Okay, I'll get there.
No sources to substantiate your claim. So it's primarily esoteric knowledge you guys are communicating, not anything cited so far.
It's fine, because what it's cited, it's recorded that slaves obey your masters, but that doesn't mean that it has true context to be accepted as a philosophy. Okay, what I'm saying is this:
we can break that down.
I was asking, but you answered because the way you answered. It is accepted and understood and established, perhaps beyond what you've cited, that African people were the first people on the planet. Now, I want you just to consider this. What you call esoteric information or knowledge is common sense in the other world. in other worlds. The first people on the planet are the firstborn people on the planet. Clearly, the first people on the planet know who made them. But aren't you even suspect, academic, scholarly individuals, and then the listening audience, aren't you suspect that the most popular account of the creator and the creation does not come from the first people, the second people, third people, for it comes later on in the world, and that ideology, that idea of who and what created everyone and everything is popularized by perhaps the last group of people on the planet. And only
So
because
you asserting the Jews are white? I'm trying to get, because you yeah. So what are you asserting here to say that the last group? So who's the last group? Who's the last group?
Well, the last group of people would be the youngest group of people on the planet, and that would be the European group of people.
Right. And so again, you're asserting that the people who wrote the scriptures are white people because you're saying that we're getting it, that they are the most popular. Is that your assertion?
What I'm asserting is that the people who have popularized, basically the idea of Christianity as you know it comes out of Rome.
No, it doesn't.
Not true. Not true.
And see
not
again,
true.
There's
as
another.
you know it.
As
you know it, my brother.
That's
what I'm saying.
Not true.
One second.
Not even as we.
Let's slow it down right here.